All right, guys, welcome back to Alliance Tournament 16. I'm Elise Randolph, joined by Black Bar Pirate, and we've got a cracker, as the kids are saying. We've got Goonswarm Federation in red and Lumpy in blue. Goonswarm actually being piloted with their leader, the Matani, in a Navy Augur. Asher Elias in an Absolution calling the shots. And we've also got a Paladin, Armageddon, Vedmak, Vexer, two Logi frigates, and a Brutix to round out what they've got. Take me through what the Lumpy team's got.
Lumpy is actually bringing in only DPS team. We're seeing kind of another one of those like Octodad version 2s where we have a Fleet Hurricane, Navy Brutix, Harbinger, Brutix, Ferox, Rupture, Thorax, Vexer, and a Mauler. So lots of damage, not a lot of range, not a lot of repping.
Yeah, both teams have quite a lot of EHP, as you can see on the bars there. Interestingly enough, the Navy Augur, I'm kind of curious as to what setup they're going to use with this one. On TQ, you see a lot of polarized fits with the Navy Augur because it's generally a tanky ship and no one really seems to care about shooting it. But we see some bouncers dropped from the Condi team right now, and they are going after this Thorax first. They're getting rid of the phallic Galente rush ship that has a lot of DPS. Meanwhile, Lumpy are trying to kite back and kill this Blackbird. That's going to be kind of a thorn in their side if they can get this one down early. It's a huge win for them.
Yeah, Lumpy has actually thrown out a bunch of EC drones on the Blackbird as well, so I think they're trying to make sure that no matter what happens, it's shut down. I think the Blackbird may actually die before the Thorax from Lumpy does. Lumpy is kiting away pretty heavily to try and outrange at least the damage and probably the neuting power. So Blackbird does end up going down first from Goonswarm, and the Thorax seems to not be dying very fast. Okay, he's going down now.
Yeah, so the Lumpy team actually has no logistics, so that's something to point out. So, as this match goes on, it's more Goonswarm favored. And unfortunately for Lumpy, the Goonswarm team has quite a lot of EHP. They got that Blackbird down, and they're going for the Vexer now, which is a great call on that one. But the longer this match runs, the harder it's going to be for them. And we see a Brutix from Lumpy has been singled out and tackled, and he's going down with the quickness.
Yeah, he's going out quite quickly, especially for what appears to be a halting Brutix. And, Lumpy they will kill that Vexer eventually, but they're trading DPS ships for pretty much a tackling ship and an ECM ship right now.
Yeah, so this Vedmak piloted by Wild is actually going to start ramping up some DPS pretty quickly. It is right in the fray here, charging towards what looks like the Brutix Navy issue. Also shooting this Rupture as well, which is going to go down really quickly. And now Lumpy are going for the morale victory right here. They're going to try and kill the Matani. They've got him scrammed. They've got him webbed. They're going to try and take out the leader for a morale win here. But man, oh man, Lumpy are getting massacred right now. Thorax already down. Rupture about to go down. Brutix already down. And this Harbinger is getting neuted out. So its effectiveness is going to be pretty poor pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like they actually switched over to a Brutix. I think that maybe they were trying to trick the reps onto going on to the Matani instead, but realistically, Lumpy needs to try and get those logistic ships of Goonswarm down and then, kite them out with their superior DPS. But at this rate, they just killed the Brutix, but they might trade a Navy Brutix for it, which is never a trade you want to do.
Yeah, the Navy Brutix will be hull tank, so it'll go down pretty slowly. But this Paladin and the Armageddon is able to neut it out, so it doesn't really matter if it lives or dies. It's not going to be able to fire its weapons. That's something we didn't really point out before. This Geddon is quite a lot of control. It has very strong neuts, and it's something that these battlecruiser hulls are very susceptible to, especially this Harbinger. Obviously, the Hurricane doesn't care if it has a cap or not, but this Harbinger needs a lot of capacitor to fire, so this Geddon really does control how much it can fire. As we see this Vedmak kind of going down on the Goonswarm side. The Thali and Deacon, one of the Deacons does have ECM drones on it, so it might be jammed a little bit. Oh man, that Vedmak just got chunked down really, really hard. A good shot in coming from this Harbinger, I guess. And this Vedmak's probably going to drop.
Yeah, and even with the two logistics frigates, logistics frigates aren't particularly powerful, and Lumpy still has a ton of damage on field. They still have 4 battle cruisers, and so they are able to take the Vedmak down even through the reps, and they haven't really been losing anything. Like, they might trade a Mauler for it, but things could be switching over to Lumpy's favor here.
Yeah, the Goonswarm side needs to get some control on these battle cruisers. Hopefully they don't kite around. As you see, the Matani's Navy Augur is actually getting plinked down. He was not brick tanked at all. He's taking quite a lot of damage. The Thali and Deacon aren't able to keep him up. He is entering structure right now. Let's see what Goons can get for a trade for it. They have to get something for this Navy Augur. And no, they're not going to get absolutely anything. Lumpy is kiting away. The Matani is down in the Navy Augur. Goons are just left with a Brick Paladin, a Brick Geddon, and an Absolution, and Lumpy are going to go after Elias and the Absolution right now.
Yeah, and the Thalia from Goonswarm isn't actually repping anybody right now. I'm not sure if he's out of range or if he's just running around, but that Absolution is going down really quickly as well. And while it is one of the more tanky ships that you can bring, they appear to have used it mostly as a damage ship. And, you know, we've traded now several DPS ships, and maybe the Fleet Hurricane will finally go down, but Lumpy is just straight up out-piloting by kiting away from everything.
Lumpy's back. Lumpy took that Absolution down. Elias got chunked down by these battlecruiser hulls. There's just a Navy Harbinger and a Ferox left. This Fleet Hurricane looks like it's going to die pretty quickly. He is trying to run away, but he's getting neuted. He's running. This Paladin can't really apply any of this damage to him. He's surviving in half structure here, and Goons are wasting a lot of time. They've got bouncers and sentry drones trying to hit some things. They've got some light maintenance bots as well, trying to keep some of their team alive. It's just a matter now if Lumpy can survive with their lead right now. If they can just kite away, there's no way Goonswarm team can catch them.
To be fair, if the Fleet Hurricane does die, Goon is going to get ahead in points again, so it's also possible that Lumpy might not actually be able to finish this off. Well, the only DPS ship that Goonswarm has left is the Paladin, potentially the Geddon drones, which I think they actually left way too far away to do anything. The Paladin has such good projection that he's going to be able to hit the Fleet Hurricane pretty much no matter where he goes.
Oh, it's a disaster. The guidance whipped to Berserkers, and the Berserkers are on the Lumpy Hurricane fleet issue. He's going to go down to drones, and Goons are going to claw this one back.
Yeah, he figured out that his drones could not shoot from that far away when they're only Tech 1, and there goes the Fleet Hurricane. So now Lumpy has to kill something on the other side. But they're going for the Thalia, and they're actually doing a pretty good amount of damage to it. I believe that they're far enough away that the signature tank of the small logistics frigates is probably not saving him. And while logistics frigates are pretty strong, one of them is not going to be able to rep another one through 3 battlecruisers DPS.
Okay, so there's a swarm of EC-300s on Daquan, the Deacon, the pair for the Thalia, and so he's not able to rep his friend. River Geist is going to go down, and then Lumpy will be back with a 1-point lead. A fragile 1-point lead, but crucially, the Harbinger has been singled out by this Geddon. This Harbinger is now going to die. The Goonswarm team is not crumbling under the pressure. They're getting kills. They've got 3 minutes to kill this Harb. It's going to go down. There's no way he's going to be able to live this one unless he MJDs away right now, or unless the Lumpy team focuses on the drones, which I don't think they're doing.
Yeah, the only chance the Harbinger has is that if he can make it to that MJD beacon, which he's not really that close to, but he is relatively... There is a chance, and I think that just because the only DPS ship is the Paladin, his hull may hold long enough. I do see that he is neuted, but you can also see that he's clearly MWDing around, so he might be able to actually kite out long enough for that other Deacon to die. Once the other Deacon's dead, Lumpy may be able to actually kill the Armageddon in time.
It's so hard though, because this Geddon really neutralizes the effect of all of these ships if he can get his newts on. This Harbinger gets chunked even lower. He's trying to run away. They're trying to kill these drones that the Geddon has pulled out. This Deacon, piloted by Quan Shawa, is kind of entering structure, but he's moving. He's a pretty small target. And the Harbinger goes down. The Harbinger is down. Goons take the lead back. They had a 1-point deficit, and now they're up. So Lumpy, they have to kill this Geddon, full on. They have to all in on this Geddon and get it dead. But if they get in range of the Geddon, they're probably going to lose a ship as well.
Yeah, and you know, unless one of the battleships decides to boundary, it's going to be very difficult. Like you said, the news from the Geddon alone can shut down both the Navy Harbinger and the Ferox. And while the Deacon is probably going to go down, as it looks like it just got tackled by the Vexor, I don't think that that's going to matter. Both of those battleships are worth so many points that you're going to have to really go through the 2 tankiest targets on the team with about a third of your DPS.
All right, so as we were saying, as this match goes longer and longer, the Goonswarm team does have an advantage because the Geddon newts kind of just eventually give them the suck. So much so that these ships can't do much. They can't fire their weapons. They can't run their tanks. They can't MJD or MWD. So this Navy Harbinger piloted by Lumpy is going to slowly go down while this Geddon is just going to live. There's no way a Ferox and a Rupture can kill this Geddon in enough time.
Yeah, and the Geddon does appear to have some damage on it itself. It looks like it might have rapid heavy missile launchers, so it's not a full Newt Geddon, which in this specific instance is actually way worse for Lumpy, since between the 2 battleships, like, they're going to be able to easily kill Navy Harbinger.
Yep, and we do see the Geddon is also smart bombing as well, but you can see, crucially, the Berserker 1s from the Geddon, the Tech 1 Berserkers, have caught up to this Harbinger Navy issue. And now that it's neuted, it can't really do anything. It's probably got a small injector, so it can kind of burst MWD, but it's not going to be enough. We see Lumpy trying to react by throwing EC300s onto the Geddon, but there's no way it's going to be enough here, as this Harbinger is about to go down, and Goons are going to come up way ahead in a back and forth match that it was on a knife's edge the entire time.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they kill this Navy Harbinger, like, you'll have to get rid of both battleships from Goons to win. So, really good attempts by Lumpy. They flew really well, they piloted really well and spread out, but it looks like Goons are actually going to take this.
Yeah, Goons, the Mittani just brings that moral boost for the Goons, and they're going to see this one through. Really back and forth. Goonswarm is not a team with a lot of tournament pedigree. So the fact that they had this win against what's many people consider to be probably a better team, though I think it's wrong to consider Lumpy a better team. Lumpy probably have more pilots that are better at Alliance Tournament type fighting. But you know what? Goonswarm, they do it.
Yeah, the morale officer of having the Mittani on was able to push them ahead in this match.
All right, and that's it for us. Goonswarm take this 83-59 over Lumpy. Lumpy is relegated to the elimination bracket. Goonswarm go on through the winner bracket, and we're going to send it back to...
For good fights, make it brave.
Hi, my name is Durhadur, dreaded CEO Emeritus. My interests include streaming. Hey, speaking of streaming, you should check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Durhadur, multidollarmediaempire.com. Check out my Twitter, twitter.com/Durhadur, multidollarmediaempire.com.
Warp drive active.
Goonswarm Federation there taking a very hard-fought victory over Lumpy to go through to the next round of the winners bracket. I don't remember this happening before. I've got one question for the guys in the studio here. Goonswarm Federation, are they the new Pandemic Legion AT team? Question mark.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I think Asher has proven his worth as the 23rd best FC in the Imperium.
Yeah. So this is it. This is when PL falls off and we begin the Goonswarm Federation era of the Alliance Tournament for the next 10 years or so. It starts now. You're all part of it.
The rise of the bees, indeed.
The rise of the bees. Interestingly, on our prediction with people online submitting, only 333 people predicted Goonswarm. The last few matches, the victor has usually been predicted by around 800 to 1,000, but only 330 people got it right. Possibly Goon Alts.
The true believers.
The true believers.
They never lost hope.
Yeah, that was genuinely, I think, one of the best matches we've seen today.
Like,
yeah,
really close.
Yeah, like it went both ways. I remember, like at one point, Goon started to fall a little bit behind, and then Big Art J was like, "Oh no, it looks like Lumpy's going to take this," and then they started to just claw it back, and they just that Harvey that was just holding on for so long, and they just kept doing it, and great match.
I think my favourite part of that was the massive amount of discussion just in this studio about is the Mittani bait tanked or not?
Yeah.
We must have debated that for half the match. All we were like is yeah, but they just put the Mittani in the tankiest shit possible, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing stuff, and we're like, he's actually moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Did they just fit him with all heat sinks because they think that they're gonna think he's bait?
It's the double mind game.
Yeah,
it's
I love it.
Would they think that we'll just bait tank him, so we'll put no tank on him and extra damage, and then see if they shoot him? And
it worked.
He lived to win for ages, and then his team carried it forward. Goonswarm Federation, victory over Lumpy. Well, goddamn done. I'm proud of you guys. So, we have a graph we can throw up now. This is going to be E-War performance in the Alliance Tournament so far. So let's take a look at that. So this is wins versus picks for the different types of electronic warfare that we're seeing. Capacitor warfare, so that's your energy neutralizers being picked the most and winning a significant amount more. So tell me, why is that so dominant there on that graph?
I think it's dominant because of the dominance of the Lashak as well, because you've got so many utility hives to just fill it through with heavy energy neutralizers. We've seen Tinkers be very effective. Teams are probably going to be packing heavy energy neutralizers to try and deal with those teams. We've also seen a few teams pick and ban the Curse. It was one of the more popular ones. Well, I think it was more Arena 2 games that we didn't really see too many in our arena.
And Jintan, do you have anything to add to this graph here? And then we don't see very much weapon disruption or sensor dampening. Why do you think that might be?
We generally don't see a lot of weapon disrupting or sensor dampening because of the rules in the Alliance Tournament around using script in those modules. In the past, we've obviously had the damp wars. I'm sure you well remember those, Suetonia, where we would have matches of nothing but ships just moving away from one another and making sure they couldn't lock each other. It was really good fun. I recommend everyone go back and watch 8012.
The old triple mollusk comp, just damp everyone into the ground.
Oh no, it was a very skill testing a very skill testing time, but it was also atrocious to watch because nothing blew up until like the last 2 seconds of a match.
And what about ECM there? A little bit surprised to see the such a disparity between picks and wins there. It looks like ECM is maybe not performing as well as maybe would have thought. Why do you think that might be?
I think a lot of bad teams just put Blackbirds as their support ship in their comps, have no idea how to use them and feed.
Are you saying people who use ECM are bad, Jintan?
No, of course not. ECM is an honourable game tactic.
People who pilot Falcons are always the best at the game.
They're the nicest people. I love everyone who flies Falcons. Please don't jam me and kill me in your Saber Gate camp.
ECM is a fair and balanced mechanic. Fair and balanced.
To be serious, I think ECM doesn't really work when you can only bring a sort of small amount of it. In the past, we've seen like teams go all in on it, like the Chameleon Double Rook team, or teams just bring like 2 Blackbirds and a Griffin. In this tournament, you can only really bring 1 or 2 ECM ships. I mean, Brave Newbies did bring a lot of them, but it was like spread across like 5 different ship classes. And we have seen the Rook be a very popular ban choice as well, which takes out one of the most powerful ECM options.
Yeah, we did also see a team earlier on bring a ECM Praxis. It was fit with 5 multispectral ECMs in the mids. I can't remember who that was that fielded that one.
Chaos Theory?
Was it Chaos Theory?
Yeah, against Brave.
Yeah, that was an interesting decision, especially... Well, Sonia, tell us a little bit about multispectrals versus racial. I mean, what would you choose in this case? Would you fit those 5 multispecs, or would you go for some racials?
No, I would almost always go for racials in the tournament. It doesn't make sense really to bring multi-specs, I don't think. I think if you have more than 4 slots, 4 racials is better than 4 multi-specs. And teams that are very good at metagaming, what you can do is you can kind of manipulate people into flying different races. And this is sort of part of the like ECM metagaming that goes on behind the scenes. Is that, for example, you can ban, say, the Scimitar and the Basilisk to try and dissuade them from flying a shield team. And then you can start stacking up the Amar and Galanti racials and take a few Mimitar and Caldari ones away because you know that they're going to be probably bringing an armor team.
Yeah, so let's just stick that kill mail up for that Praxis and have a quick gander at it. So this is it there, full blaster boat with just multispectral ECMs there in the mids.
I would like to give some advice to the audience at home, which is if you have to use 3 fitting rigs to make your fit work, your fit sucks.
Your fit may be trash.
Yeah.
Cool. So this next match coming up, we're going to go to that pretty soon as the teams are into the arena. It's going to be the Initiative versus Immediate Destruction. Tonya, let me have a prediction from you here. What do you think?
I think the Initiative are a pretty good sort of gatekeeper team. I think they're a top 16 team. They did upset Pandemic Legion last year in Alliance Tournament 15.
And what about you, Jintan?
Yeah, I think I'm also rooting for the Initiative. I know a lot of people in there. They're a very interesting alliance, and they kind of move around the game a lot. They've been to many different regions, so I imagine they fought a lot of different opponents and will have a lot of different ideas to bring to the table.
Cool. Well, just to round things out, I am going to back the boys in Immediate Destruction. I know their Alliance CEO, he's a pretty good guy, and yeah, so good luck, and we are going to transition to the arena now for this exciting match in Alliance Tournament 16.